our goal is to dominate. Winning has been easy for us. Not that winning is an easy thing to do,
Right, right.
but you know what I'm saying. We've had our way with winning. We're in the aspect of wanting to dominate. That's the mindset. Cool if we're going 3-0 on Saturdays, fixing all the way to the championship and losing the championship. You know what I mean? Exactly. So that's just kind of the mentality and mindset that we are kind of instilling in the guys. Winning is always feels good because winning is always hard to do, regardless of the sport. Just the simple fact of, like I said, we want trophies, we want championships, we want to dominate, we want to make sure that not just speculate that we're the best, show that we're the best. Winning trophies is the way of doing that.
What up, everybody? It's Coach Rod from the platform, and I got a special guest with me today. This it's playoff time as we're wrapping up 2025. I can't believe it's almost 2026. We start thinking about we see 7-on-7 tryouts, and then you got the whole it's camp season, spring ball, all that. But as we get ready, we got these tryouts coming on, and I just want to highlight these great organizations I've been following for the longest time. They do it for the athletes. They do so much for these athletes and get their stories out there and really get what they're all about. So without further ado, the Slimey Boyz. How we doing?
Doing good, man. Doing
Good,
good.
good.
Man, like I said before, man, I've been following you guys for a while. The name I don't know who came up with the name, but that was so catchy. I was like, man, I like that. The color schemes and all of that, man, that was legit. So, because when someone hears Slimey Boyz, what do you want them to feel when they hear that name?
We just want them to understand, like when you hear the name Slimy Boys, you know that you have an organization that's coming to compete. We bring in the energy, we bring in the passion. You know what I mean? And that's just we're gonna compete at the highest level. So we understand the name. You know what I'm saying? Now that we have it, what comes with it, we're gonna get everybody's best. We're expecting the same. So bring A game when when we see you.
Right, right. So let's talk about you guys history within football itself, and then how you guys came up with the organization Slimy Boys, and why you guys are doing what you do.
uh, it's funny. Actually, we honestly didn't even really kind of come up with the name Slimy Boys. It was kind of just, a
Give
name
it
that,
to us.
yeah, and we just kind of ran with it. So we initially started off as Team Florida Slime. So we were started off as just a 14U division up under Team Florida. So we were just Team Florida Slime. We won our first ever tournament, Pylon Orlando. I think we followed it up with our second tournament, Championship Orlando. So we started to get a little buzz there. Championship invited us out to their Texas tournament. We ended up going out there. They showed us mad love. Everyone was just like, "Oh yeah, those are Slimy Boys. Those are boys from Florida." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were seeing little clips and things like that of us on the net, just of us turning up or us celebrating big plays or whatever. So, we kind of had a little buzz here and there when we first went out there. So that's kind of where the love really started at in Texas, honestly, and then we just ran with it from there.
Yeah, so I mean, I was in San Antonio, I was in Texas, and we heard about you guys there. It's like, man, this is you saw the video, you saw that, but then the great athletes you guys had as well too, because you can have all the swag, all the stuff like that, but if you're not winning games, you're just out there looking good doing cardio for no reason. So to just talk about the whole process of just getting with these athletes. You said you start with a 14U. I've started with a 14U way back in the day, and that was the age group that I worked the most closely with, since they were in playing youth ball and all that. So just talk about that first team winning Pylon. That's a big tournament too. That's not like it's a small time tournament. Winning that's a big deal. So just talk about that first group and just the early days of the Slimy.
There's a lot of ground, man. Honestly, once we kind of decided that we're gonna coach the 14 level, we have some talented youth teams. We were kind of showing up to the little league games, kind of putting stuff out there on Instagram and things like that. Came across some kids around the area, started reaching out, inviting them to tryouts. Kind of really how everything started with that group. And then, just kind of from there, the product we put on the field and everything and on display has kind of helped us out on the back end. Just as far as, other kids just want to come and be a part of the program or to see how we've been doing things.
Yeah, definitely. So how would you describe your guys' culture? To someone who's never really been to a practice or seen you guys play before.
Brotherhood. That's our culture. We always, we gonna be there for one another throughout whatever. However, feel me? Like that's how we are. You feel me? Like that's my brother. So that's what we want our organization to be. Like brothers.
So every time, man, everybody that come through the organization, that's we still communicate with them. You know what I'm saying? We still keep that kind of, check up on them here and now, every now and then, or whatever the case is, just because we understand how it is. We played college ball, so we understand the different challenges and the journeys that these young men will face. We're a little bit younger in age, so we know we relate to them a little bit more. So, that's kind of the gift that we have in a sense. It's also understand that we built that, that type of respect to where it's a good line and a good divide between being like a brother relationship with them, and then when we're on the field and being the coach to them.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. You talked about, God has blessed you guys with the ability to impact the youth. There's nothing bigger than that. I mean, you said you guys are younger, but you have this huge impact. You know what I mean? And it's so important what you guys are doing. And you talked about you guys have been through the grind. You've been to the other side of past high school ball into college, and you know all the stresses and distractions and everything that comes with that. So can you just guys talk about your experience and how do you relate that to the current athlete today?
So with me, so I was actually living kind of a double life a little bit. I was playing college ball and still coaching these past 4 years of 7-on-7. So
Wow.
honestly, the only year that I uh was kind of free was that first year, our 14U year. So ever
Wow.
since then, since 2022, I've been in the spring, I'm in spring ball or whatever the case is, and then on weekends I'm taking the drive from Tuskegee, Alabama to wherever we are. So a lot of
Wow.
times it's Tampa, Orlando, or what I mean. For Miami, I'm making that trip Sunday after the tournament. I'm getting back on the road, making sure I'm there for workouts on Monday. You know what I mean? So it was definitely a hassle a little bit, but just being able to provide that real life, experience for the boys, you know what I'm saying? Come back and be able to tell them like, I'm seeing the most talented kid, you know what I mean, in the position group not get on the field because of the little things, you know what I
Right.
mean? Because he's, doesn't he's showing up late, or what I'm saying, he's not paying attention in the film room, or so just being able to let them know your skill set's only going to get you so far. You know what I mean? The extra things, the extra work, the film study, the whatever the case may be, your schoolwork, you know what I mean? Being a good person, like all that stuff matters when it comes to college football. So just being able to, like I said, that we're able to live that for them already. So now we're able to, just kick the game back to them.
Yeah, definitely. You were playing college ball as well, both you guys?
Yeah, yeah, I played college ball too. But I say what I get to the youngins is really the passion of the game. Cause I was one of those players to where I'm turned up, I'm dancing, I'm hyped up. I played with my last year little league, whole high school career. So I was always the one. I score for 60, and I'd be turned up. I'd be dancing. So I just really like pour my passion into the boys.
Yeah, yeah, keeping it real. I mean, you guys being. I wish I would have, been coaching a lot more when I was in my younger days. I'm in my mid 40s now, so it's like I can't do ladder drills. I can't go out there do a ladder. I might I might hit the ground. I might
For
have to
sure.
stretch out for. I might get a couple icky shuffles in me. I might get halfway to the ladder and I got to stop for a little bit. So
Yeah,
you guys
nah.
are you guys are working out with the kids too, right? So as you're doing it, you get keeping yourself in shape.
But yeah, for sure.
Here
It's
and
been
there, here
plenty.
and there.
I was gonna say it's been plenty of times that we'll lace up the cleats in practice just to let them know, like don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, I can sling it. That's about it right now. I'm not running any routes or anything like that. That's about all I can do.
yeah, nah.
As you get older, you gotta. I got one route in me, maybe, so I gotta make it count. So
That's it. You gotta let them have that.
for sure, for sure. So, what's the mental edge you expect these young athletes to bring? When they put that jersey on, what do you want them to embody? As because not everyone can wear the jersey, right? Not everyone's making the
Yeah, no, for
team, so
sure.
it's like, how do you pick the guys that are going to be representative of your organization?
We want to see guys that are gonna compete. We tell everybody, tryouts before you come become a part of the organization. Listen, our goal is to dominate. Winning has been easy for us. Not that winning is an easy thing to do,
Right, right.
but you know what I'm saying, we've had our way with winning. We're in the aspect of wanting to dominate. That's the mindset. Cool if we're going 3-0 on Saturdays, you know what I mean, or 6 and all the way to the championship and losing the championship. You know what I mean? Exactly. So that's just kind of the mentality and mindset that we, are kind of instilling in the guys. Like I said, winning is always, feels good. Like I said, because winning is always hard to do, regardless of the sport. Just the simple fact of, like I said, we want trophies, we want championships, we want to dominate, we want to make sure that not just speculate that we're the best, show that we're the best. You know what I mean? So and winning trophies is the way of doing that.
Yeah, definitely. So let me ask you guys this question, and I love asking, or just thinking the mindset behind it. Do you like winning more or hate losing more? What do you? What is one of those things that drive you? For me, I always, you don't want to think about losing, but I hate to lose. So that thing, I do not want that feeling. So, like you said, you can go 6-0, you can do everything. You lose in championship, like man, there we go.
I mean, I say it all depends on how you lose. Like a loss is a loss at the end of the day, but like a loss that you could have controlled or like it's your fault because it's plenty of games to where I wanted to like go deep and I threw a pick and our team came back on us that quick. 7-on-7 is about points and what
Right.
you get points for everything. I say just how you lose.
Yeah, nah, I'm losing. Losing. Yeah. Just because for me personally, I remember the losses more than the wins. You know what I mean? Like I could honestly pinpoint, you know what I mean, three to five specific plays from, losses that like, oh yeah, then, this happened and we had about this much time left and we had a timeout here. We should have, you know what I mean? Just little things like that that you kind of, analyze afterwards that you like, oh, if we would have done this, you know what I
Right.
mean? So I definitely feel like it's the losses just because you always think about, shoulda, coulda, woulda afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys have had a lot of success, a lot of early success. Like you said, you guys are competing, not just going there trying to go win a couple games. You're trying to win the whole thing. So what's one tournament, what's one game that sticks out in your head? If I start talking about what's the best game that you've had that you remember, one of the most fun games to be a part of, impactful games, what comes to mind?
I have to say, just recently OT7. Just for us, just because we know we had the game, you know what I mean, in reach. We made some mistakes. We shot ourselves in the foot, and made a costly mistake on, you know what I mean, late in the game on fourth down. That was really we feel like a pinnacle moment for the organization. Just because there's been so much talk and speculation of, you know what I mean, about who Slimy Boys really are, but everyone that has really saw, like I said, you guys have seen us over the years, um and you see how we do things, you know what I mean. Everyone loves us, so it's always those few bad apples that try to sprinkle salt on the water a little bit
Right.
about our name and kind of crisscross of who we really are. So just the fact that OT7 gave us the opportunity to go out there to perform, to put on a show, what I'm saying, show everybody that we're legit, we're the real deal, and we're here to stick around. You know what I'm saying? After year one, a lot of people didn't feel like that. Honestly, we didn't honestly know, this what it would turn into. But like I said, we're here and we're here to stay.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So obviously, what I love about the 7-on-7 game when I was coaching a while ago, that you get a chance to have your guys compete against some of the best nationally, some of the best that they would never maybe face from different cities, different states. Sometimes people come from different countries. What's some of the toughest programs or players that you guys have gone against that comes to mind?
Asians, we always bump with 24K. They're probably our biggest, rival just in the area. And that's kind of just dates back to 15U. Uh, Other than that, that's only really, what I'm saying, we run into it. Some other programs and things in the area that, doing things right now on up and come up. Primate, they had a pretty good successful year this past season.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah. You guys, I can see it. You guys didn't want to give credit to anybody. I can see
Yeah,
it in
you
your
know what
face,
I
like
mean?
you didn't want to name a name.
Shout out to Coach Neil though, you feel me? He cool people.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody know, what I'm saying, we're doing things the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's all love. The ones that we communicate with, the ones that we working with, and we do the little things with, shout out to y'all. We continue to go in the right direction.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk about trials coming out. I would love when trials came because you didn't know, you had an idea of who was about to show up, and sometimes you get a few surprises. But when it comes to evaluating players, because I don't know how many. I'm sure you guys get a ton of players that come to your trials. You know, you get hundreds, whatever. You know, you get everyone there. You probably have a core of people of like these guys would probably make it, but then you have those guys that really surprise you. What do you look at when it comes to evaluating talent at a tryout?
I say just don't be the same as last year.
And that's for us with our returners. So I feel like, excuse me, I feel like it's honestly harder to make the team as a returner than it is as a new guy because we hold our returners to a higher standard. But as our returner, like I said, we saw you all last season. We saw the expectation. We worked with you. You know, coming back this 7-on-7 season, you know what I mean? You're from your IQ to your, you know what I mean, just the way you're playing the game, your mentality, your work ethic, whatever it is, something should be different about you. You know what I mean? So we really push that as far as with our guys, it's as far as returners, and it's just as far as the new guys, you know, just be a spark, catch my eye. You know what I mean? We always tell everybody we treat it like camp season, man. Like you're not gonna get noticed getting 1 or 2 reps.
Right.
You know what I mean? So try to get as you know what I mean. Try to get as many reps as possible. Get seen, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Pop out, make a play, do something, compete.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing, so I love 7-on-7. I've coached it. I don't coach anymore. I coached it a long time ago. Just love the game. Just loved everything about it. And one thing I don't miss, you know, when I started high school arena coaching, you know, stuff like that, is some of the parent meetings, right? With the parents. I mean, that's one of the things that's been some of the most frustrating thing. And I've been an offensive coordinator for high school and things like that. And you don't deal with a lot of parents, but dealing with 7-on-7, it's almost daily. The text and all that. What do you tell your parent? Or what do you tell your parents if they have a kid that wants to be a standout? Like, how do you tell them to get on the field? How do you deal with in regards to your parents?
With all our parents, we're open and transparent. You know what I mean? We're an open book. We always let them know. Listen, you know what I mean. If you want to know why he's not starting or why you feel this, why you feel that, come ask us. Or 9 times out of 10, he knows because we're telling him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's kind of the open relationship with it, and like I said, we've built that kind of trust over the years with our parents to where they trust our judgment, they trust that we know what we're doing. A lot of times, there's been times where we get on our players and the parents sit back like, hey, hey, your coach is right. You know what I mean, he knows what's going on or whatever the case is. So like I said, I really feel like it just comes down to just being able to establish that relationship and be able to be in that position to where the parents feel comfortable enough to kind of, I guess, kind of let you handle that.
Yeah, definitely. So one thing that for me as I was coaching was dealing with the quarterbacks, right? So some tournaments you go to, you got two, three. Sometimes you just got one, and sometimes it's almost easier when you got one because everyone wants their reps. How do you deal with the quarterback play? Do you give them, hey, you got these set amount of drives during pull play, you got this game, I'm rolling with a hot hand. How do you deal in regards to your quarterbacks for the whole tournament?
All right, so you got pool play games on Saturday. So so if we got 3 games, if we got 4 games, we'll go every drive. So quarterback can have first drive, then this quarterback can have second drive, and then it'll go just like that. So second game, the second quarterback he'll start, then it'll just rotate. It'll go back and forth like that. But Sunday, it all depends on how you perform on Saturday. So it's if you score, you stay in. If you don't score, next man up.
Yeah, and that's kind of how Sunday rolls. You roll with the hot hand on Sunday. If he, starting quarterback, he drives down, he scores, he stays in. You know what I mean? So it's been times like that. It's been situations where things like that come in handy. But like I said, the offensive coordinators, they communicate with the quarterbacks. They let them know how the system's gonna work. The quarterbacks, typically agreeing like, okay, they understand how it works, and they support each other in the midst. We've had a situation where in a national championship, one quarterback went. He didn't score the first 2 drives, I think it was, or didn't score a drive. The other didn't score a drive, and then the other guy came in and he didn't get stopped the rest of the game. You know what I'm saying? It's things like that. At the end of the day, the W is all that matters.
But then you both quarterbacks doing their thing. Like before, a three headed we had a 3-headed monster at quarterback during one tournament. We put up 100 points on Saturday and came and won the championship on Sunday. each quarterback they was just getting I have 3 drives a game, and one quarterback could get a drive, and they leading us to a touchdown. So it just all depends on how you do it and how everything looking.
Yeah, exactly. I always tell the quarterbacks, it doesn't matter what level. You throw an interception, you like you're careless with the football. Don't even look. You already know you're out. Don't we
Oh
get to the
yeah, for
sideline?
sure.
Let's not even communicate. I'm already getting the next guy up.
Yeah,
Especially if it's one of
and
those
that's just
mistakes. The next guy knows, hey, start warming up because I mean, you don't want to have too short of a leash, but the defense gets points, obviously 7-on-7, and
yeah, I was
then
about to say that's what really is the killer. Just because especially if you start with the ball, you throw interception. Now the other team's up 3-0. You know what I mean? Then they come down
yeah,
to score. Now they're up 2 possessions. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So it's like that's a tough game in the 7-on-7 world.
Yeah, it can get ugly quick if you're not careful. It can
Facts,
get
facts.
ugly real quick if you're not careful. So let's talk about your practices. How much do you emphasize, or what do you do in regards to your speed development, your footwork, and your conditioning? How does that look like for you guys?
So honestly, like right now is like our it's kind of like our development area and time. So like typically for the most part, like our some of our returners guys, the returners that we keep in contact with, some of their seasons just ended from high school. We'll set up little workouts or whatever. You know what I mean? Just things that we do with them, or some of our older guys that have came through the program, they're home on Thanksgiving break and things like that. So we set up like a little workout and just do things like that, touch up on the technique, or just the fundamental things, footwork.
All hands on deck, and just whoever can help or put in the time that knows a little knowledge that can give back. We highly encourage it.
Yeah, so that's how we kind of do things. Then as practice gets started for 7-on-7, we really hone in just on just understanding football IQ offensively, just teaching receivers understand when zone, man, sit the route down, keep it running, understanding the just the fundamentals of the difference between running the bang eight, keeping it high, keeping it skinny, or what I'm saying, just little things that we want to emphasize, just because once the season gets rolling, you don't really typically get that much time. And especially us, we have kids that's Ocala, Lakeland, Sarasota, St. Pete, Fort Myers. You know what I mean? So during the week, you're not going to get all those kids at practice all the time. While we can during that Christmas break, we definitely hit the ground running.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about what's on everybody's mind, a lot of people's mind. The recruiting roller coaster, right? So how do you guide your kids who are dealing with that recruiting roller coaster? I mean, you got kids at all different levels that are, they're freshmen all the way to this is their senior year, and that's what's on their mind. Like, how do you guide them through that process? Because I know they're talking to you outside of the 7-on-7 season. They're still
Mhm.
tagging you and stuff and saying, "Hey, coach, I got what do you think about this?" It's a year long thing for you guys. So how do you guide them through this process?
Rock with who rock with you.
That's right.
And that's honestly that's the biggest message you could really, you know what I mean, just because don't get caught on the hype, don't get caught on the name, you know what I mean, especially the way that college football is now, you know what I'm saying, with the transfer portal and all these different things. We tell them, listen, college football is, I feel like it's about 60% football, maybe 40% business, you know what I mean, and
Right.
it's kind of getting to a point where it's a little bit 50-50. You know what I mean?
For
So
sure.
and that's just the cold truth of it.
Yeah, yeah.
We just tell all our guys, man, listen, if this the school that's been hitting you up since day one, they've been constant communication with you, they've been rocking with you, you know what I mean? Show love, you know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
that's how we are as an organization. You've been rocking with us, you've been sticking with us, we gonna rock with you. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. So that's the biggest, just for anybody. You know what I'm saying? When in the recruiting world, rocking with you. Don't fall into the trap.
And stay prayed up.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
You got to, and that's in every part of life, right? You got to
Yeah.
stay in every
Definitely.
part, every part. So, what's the biggest misconception of how the recruiting process works? You guys obviously went through the process successfully on your own. So, all these athletes, I know they're looking to you for that guidance. But what do you think the biggest misconception is?
So honestly, I feel like it's changed a little bit. The just the way they recruit. So like for us, I came out high school. I graduated 2019. So for me, I'm about 5'11". I'm 225 coming out of high school. I was still deemed as a smaller linebacker. You know what I mean? So That's, you know what I mean, in this world, that's just, but now you kind of see, some smaller linebackers in a hybrid world, or you know what I mean, just because of the way that the game is. So those things like that are changing in the aspect, just as far as standards and aspects, honestly. But the biggest thing I say, just push it, get your name out there. That's one thing that we always try to help, hitting up coaches on the side, or the ones that we have connections with, or just trying to build connections with. We're always trying to advocate for our guys any way we can.
Always.
So, if you don't advocate for yourselves, or if your name's not out there, you won't know.
What you gonna
Um,
do for it to get out there?
so
Right. So let's talk a little bit about December 14th. I want to share this real quick. I got you guys your flyer right here, so I want to share that as we're talking. So let's talk about December 14th. So what's the standard you expect kids to show on December 14th the moment they walk on that field? What's the standard?
I'm the best one out there. Can't nobody mess with me.
straight like that. I want you to come compete.
Games ain't based on sympathy.
You're right. Right. What are the biggest red flags that when you see someone who isn't ready, as they come out there and like, yeah, I don't know if this is really for you.
You hiding in the back.
Hiding in the back. Just body language. Body language is a big thing. Big thing. Body language.
I'm just out there for the media.
Yeah.
True. Right.
I just want the pictures. I just want the Instagram posts.
Yeah, that's one of the quickest ways to get. We tell you, hey, listen, if that's what you're here for, if you're here for the, what I'm saying, the media, the just to say I play for Slimy Boys and all this and that, this is not the organization for you. You know what I'm saying? Just because, like I said, we take pride in it. Everybody that's a part of it take pride in it. You know what I'm saying? So just understanding, and you kind of see, honestly, just the way that certain kids approach it. You know what I mean? Just from, showing up, being on time, or, after tournaments, whatever it is, may have certain kids the way they treat it. Certain kids are playing around, certain kids are, you know what I mean, locked in. They actually feel the loss, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's just all of those different things that, you just, think about, and we tell them that we're evaluating. So from a tryout, we're looking at those things as well.
And being coachable. Gotta be coachable. If you can't not coachable, won't be able to play with us. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a fact. What's the hardest part of making the team? Like, what I know it's like I said, I know there's a lot of great athletes out there, but what would you say is the hardest part?
Honestly,
It's really not hard.
yeah.
You just do what you do, come
Right.
out and ball and have fun.
And it's like that, just the type of coaches we are, man. We're laid back. You know what I'm saying? We're real laid back. We're open. We're honest. Like I said, we're gonna praise. We're gonna praise the good plays. We're gonna let you know when it's bad plays. You know what I'm saying? So you'll never have to feel like you don't know what type of temperature you're getting. As long as you out there, you're getting on that field. You're putting yourself out there to be seen. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna know the type of energy you're getting.
Yeah, definitely. So as we get ready, got about five or so more questions. A little bit, maybe 5 to 10, depending on how it goes. How it talk to if a kid right now is listening, we'll make sure we try to clip it, and make sure they hear that. What's the message you want every athlete to hear before stepping into the tryouts? If you can speak in, if they're listening right now, hey, I'm paying my money, I'm getting ready to try for the Slimy Boys. What's that message you want them to hear before they even show up?
And come compete. You know what I'm saying? Come compete. Come with your mind right. Hey, let's get ready to rock out. You know what I'm saying? Come with the mindset that the spot is yours. You know what I mean?
Massa.
That's
That's it. That's all, man.
it. That's all.
Make America slime again. Let's do it.
So let's talk about the
Do it
future
for the
because
trip.
let's talk about the future of your program because you've had great success, and you're going to continue to have success. Where do you see this program 3 to 5 years from now?
So,
Lord willing, it's bigger than something that we could think of right now. Honestly, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? Honestly, because like I said, when we first started it, we honestly didn't expect for it to be kind of where it is now. And so 6 years later, we're million plus views and likes on TikTok. Thousands of followers on Instagram, thousands of views on YouTube. You know what I mean? And we're still, continuously growing. You know what I'm saying? We got a long ways to go. We're not all the way there. There's still things we could do better as an organization and things, but we're growing. We're still young, but it's everything coming. We're praying for that opportunity. So we know everything gonna be taken care of.
it's a lot of teams that have been here that isn't here no more. And we just blessed to be here, man.
We sticking around.
We just blessed to be been able to keep it afloat this long. And we just pray, we just get better day by day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can see, I can hear you guys, and I know you guys are going to be successful in whatever you do, just by the mindset that you have, and just you can just feel it there. So I'm going to enjoy watching it for sure. But as we talked about giving back to the next generation, that's one of our biggest charges. What legacy are you trying to build for that next generation?
Well, honestly, I just want them to be great, man. You know what I'm saying? I just want them to understand just win in life. You know, like that's just kind of the goal, man. Everybody trying to make it. Everybody got their own path. Everybody got their own journey. You know what I'm saying? So my journey was different from his journey. You know what I'm saying? Our journey was different from Key's journey. The other founder that's with us. He can make it on, but so just let them know everybody got a different journey. But at the end of the day, the goal and destination is the same. Everybody trying to get to the top.
Yeah. So before I throw it to you guys for the final, I just want to say, I always enjoy being around young men in general that are doing it the right way, doing the right things, man. I wish you guys nothing but success. You talked about keeping God first and all that, man. I'm looking forward to your guys' journey, not only in football but outside, man. I wish you guys all the best of luck in everything you do. Hopefully, I'll see you guys, down the road. I'm looking forward to, seeing the tryouts, seeing who all makes the team, and just as you guys put stuff out there. So I just want to say for myself to you, man, just nothing but the best. God bless both of you for what you're doing, man. Keep the grind. I know it's tough out there. You don't get thanked enough because I know as a coach, man, there people are telling you what you're not doing right. Not enough people telling you what you are doing right. You're spending your own time on a Saturday getting everything ready because the Flyers don't make themselves. The jerseys don't order themselves, and you know what I'm saying. The tournaments don't get booked themselves, and all that. You guys got to do that. So, man, you guys doing a hell of a job. So I just want to say that. But now I'll throw it to you for whatever you want to end this with, and we'll close it up.
Yeah, man. I just want to say, thank you for having us on. Just allowing us to be able to, our voice to be heard a little bit, and just to hear something from us. We want to shout out our media team. Shout out our parents, our moms that, what I'm saying, Miss Lindsay, everybody that help us, make the Slime family go around. All the kids that shout us out or that's viewing us on YouTube, viewing us on TikTok.
Appreciate all the love, man.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Big things coming this year. We definitely got a couple more announcements coming. We'll definitely make sure we try to get up with you at a couple of DR7 tournaments.
I need one of those shirts too. That white one right there, I like it. I need one of them shirts.
Yeah.
I need one of them shirts. Go ahead and send me the order form and all
Yo,
that.
you want this right here, man?
I need one of them shirts for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We definitely gonna look out for everybody who looked out for us, man. We appreciate y'all, man, for sure. Like it's crazy because we would have never thought we would have been here, man. We just grateful, man. Highly flavored, blessed and highly favored for sure.
Imagine 3 to 5 years from now where you guys going to be. You only know the doors that are about to open up for you guys and all different things. And so that's one of the most exciting things about life is you don't realize what's behind 3 5 doors from now, 3 5 years from now, how well I mean, it's going to blow your mind. So I'm looking forward for you guys seeing what you guys have. I appreciate the time that you have. We'll be following you for sure. Thank you.
I appreciate it.